Hello, Jayhawks. Welcome back to Run It Back. I'm your host, Jamison Mangold. The sports world has a big week ahead. Jayhawks are making headlines and playoffs are heating up. We're covering it all today, so let's head to it right now on Run It Back.
There's no place like Kansas.
Traders talk is circulating campus as the transfer portal has definitely shook up KU teams. Landon has a deeper look into what all has been going down. Track and field are making final laps as they gear up to finish their season strong. They headed to Arkansas this past weekend, and Alex has the latest. Then Anthony is swinging in to keep us up to date with this week's tennis. Our baseball and softball teams have both made it in the top 25 and are knocking the season out of the park. Mia has the latest on the baseball team with a recap from this weekend. First, Landon, what are your thoughts on Bryson Tiller's transfer?
Yeah, Jamison, it's seeing Bryson Tiller head to a big rival, and it's definitely been a hard pill to swallow for Jayhawk fans, but he is just one of the many transfers I will be highlighting, as I will be giving you all a recap of every bit of the Kansas basketball transfer portal drama that has fans glued to their phones at all times. Let's start out with some good news, first, as the Jayhawks landed their first two transfers of the offseason, with the first coming last Thursday as Utah forward Keanu Dawes announced he will join Kansas next season. The 6'9 junior averaged 12.5 points per game and has shown high amounts of athleticism and explosiveness that will be a huge asset to the Jayhawks offense and defense next year. The next transfer, who actually just announced his commitment about 6 hours ago, is Leroy Bolden Jr. The point guard from Toledo is a very shifty scorer and gifted three-point shooter who comes to Kansas after being named the MAC Freshman of the Year, as he averaged 16.4 points per game while shooting 40% from three. These two additions will helpfully bring Kansas fans lots of joy and memories come next season. Now we have to deliver the bad news, and we are going to start it off with the man we just brought up, as Bryson Tiller announced he will be transferring to Missouri, which caused a major stir within the Kansas community, as he will be putting on the jersey of one of the Jayhawks' biggest rivals, while also making history as the first Kansas athlete to transfer to the heated rival across the border. It is also worth noting that Kansas will be taking on Missouri this year in KC, and will also play the Tigers in Allen Fieldhouse the season after if Tiller plans to stay with the program. The next big player I want to look at is Flory Badunga, who made the decision to enter the transfer portal, where Louisville would be the highest bidder, as Badunga will be joining the Cardinals next season. This decision also broke the hearts of Jayhawks fans, as the Defensive Player of the Year finalist leaves the Kansas program after 2 years of being a key player that fans fell in love with. The Jayhawks will host the Cardinals in an exhibition game in Allen Fieldhouse next season, and this might be the most hostile you will ever see a crowd be for an exhibition game. Finally, I'd like to look at some of the other guys worth highlighting that have found new homes. Junior guard Elmarco Jackson has packed his bags and headed to the nation's capital, where he will join the Georgetown Hoyas from the Big East. Jamari McDowell is heading out to North Carolina, where he will play for Wake Forest out of the ACC. And Samis Calderon is heading to Indiana, where he will see Elmarco Jackson twice a year as he joins a Big East school in Butler. Lastly, Corbin Allen entered the transfer portal on Friday and is still looking for a new home. That's all the current news from the transfer portal for the Jayhawks. Now I'm going to alley-oop it to the fast and high-flying athletes on the track. Alex, what's the news on these incredible athletes?
Thanks, Landon. The transfer portal may have some KU fans feeling down, but the track and field team is lifting spirits after an exciting weekend. The team traveled to the Brian Clay Invitational and came back with 2 new school records and 6 event wins. The weekend was highlighted by Emma Gematai and Mason Meisershagen, who both broke their own school records. Gematai broke her own school record and became the 16th collegiate woman ever to run under 2 minutes outdoors. Her mark also ranks among the top times in the nation this season, as she took first place in the event. Meisershagen continued her great season in the pole vault, breaking her own school record with a clearance of 4.57 meters. She's quite literally raising the bar this season, and her jump now ranks among the top 3 in the country. Parker Wallian wrapped up the meet for Kansas with a victory in the men's Open A section, clocking a performance best and moving into 7th all-time in Kansas history. Up next, the Jayhawks will travel to Fayetteville for the John McDonald Invitational, with hope of even more school records to be broken. Then, coming up at the beginning of May, the team will get to stay in Lawrence for an exciting weekend classic at the Rock Chalk Classic. Track wasn't the only ones with a busy weekend. Anthony is here to tell us all about KU's tennis team's trip to Arizona.
Busy weekend for KU tennis it was, Alex. Hello, RunitBack viewers. You may not recognize me, and that's because I'm usually behind the camera. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here for KU tennis updates. So let's get into it. Number 5 ranked KU had a very eventful weekend at the Big 12 quarterfinals against number 4 seed Arizona at the USTA National Campus in Orlando, Florida on Thursday. KU was hot off their 4-0 win in the Sunflower Showdown against K-State just last Saturday, and the number 39 ranked Kansas Jayhawks looking like a serious contender coming into the tournament. To start, the KU pair of Yurkajan Aristobekova and Aina Putilina won a quick 6-1 match over the Wildcats, but after a duo of Meg McCarthy and Miriam Benazidine lost their set 6-0, the doubles point game down to a thrilling game featuring number 64 ranked pair of Kyoka Kubo and Heineken Janssen Van Vuren. Unfortunately for Kansas, the Wildcats were able to find the win in this one and give Arizona the 1-0 lead. Nayeon Cho and number 74 ranked Kyoka Kubo both won their singles matches, earning 2 points to get the Jayhawks back into it. Soon after, though, Arizona was able to secure 3 singles wins to clinch the overall match 4-2. On court 2, Van Vuren lost her singles game 6-4 and 7-6. On court 3, Aresta Rinkova fought but lost 7-6 and 6-3. And on court 4, Ben Esadine lost both her matches by a score of 6-1. With the conference tournament loss, the Jayhawks' regular season comes to a close, but there may still be some more nets to clear. KU is hoping to bounce back and make a deep run in the NC Division I's Women's Tennis Championship, and they'll learn their fate during the selection show on Monday, April 27th. All of this talk about potential national championship run has me thinking of KU baseball. So why don't we pitch it over to Mia and see how the Omahawks are doing?
From the courts to the diamond, the Omahawks are absolutely giving the fans a reason to believe in KU baseball right now. The Hawks are sitting in first place in the Big 12 standings with a 14-4 conference record, the best Big 12 start for Kansas in program history. The Jayhawks traveled to Stillwater, Oklahoma this past weekend to compete for their 5th consecutive Big 12 series win. The Jayhawks put up a fight, making it look easy, but had major help from pitcher Dominic Vogagel, recording a career high of 15 strikeouts to help Kansas even the series 1-1. They went on to win it all 9-6 in yesterday's game, proving just how dangerous this Big 12 team can be when they put it all together. This series win marks the longest streak in program history, not to mention the first time Kansas has ever won a series in Stillwater school history. The team fought hard all weekend, coming through with clutch moments at the plate and making big defensive plays, with key player performances from Dariel Osaria getting a grand slam to give Kansas its first lead of the day, along with Ryan Ritter's stretch of striking out 5 consecutive hitters, followed by Bodie Ray finishing it off with 5 more strikeouts for his 5th save of the season. Both pitchers helping push the Jayhawks' momentum forward this season. Going deeper than wins, it's obvious that this team has a dynamic unlike any other. Here's what Coach had to say about them.
They're mature in a lot of ways. There's a lot of maturing we need to do, but I do think that they enjoy competing as much as any group I've been around.
It's clear that Coach Fitz has a lot of confidence in this team, and the love for the game is showing in every inning. The team is starting to find their groove, and I can't wait to see what's in store when they step back on the diamond against Nebraska tomorrow at the Hog. Make sure to stay tuned for more sports after the break on RunitBack.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Sharon Lokiti, KU class of 2019 and national champion in the 10,000 meter, just went on to win her 2nd straight Boston Marathon this morning. This marks her 3rd win in a world marathon. Congrats on a huge accomplishment. KU is proud. Coming up, there's playoff excitement all around the board as both NHL and NBA are looking to take it all soon. Luke is giving us a preview on NHL. NFL draft begins this week, and an exciting time as this sets the stage for what's to come next season. Jimmy is giving us a preview. Heading back more locally, Casey's very own KC Current team recently played in the Teal Cup. We'll see soon if they took it. Finally, Zach, Patrick, and Landon will round us out with some more debates on the NBA playoffs. All this after we look into who might win that Stanley Cup. Luke?
Thank you, Jameson. The race for the Stanley Cup is officially underway, with every series through at least one game besides the Oilers and Ducks. There are some series in which the winner was probably known going in, and others that are going to be an absolute dogfight through 7 games. Here are some that are must-watch. The first series is the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. These teams have had a big-time rivalry for years. They absolutely cannot stand each other. The in-state rivals have made it known that they hate one another over the 360 times they've played. This series should provide tons of fireworks. Currently, the Flyers lead the series 1-0, but I think Pittsburgh makes the comeback and takes it home in 7. The next series to talk about is the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. Whenever these teams meet, it's always cinema. This is probably the best series in round 1, with 2 teams who are Stanley Cup caliber meeting up. The Wild took Game 1 with a dominant score of 6-1. However, Dallas is going to respond and make sure this series is one to watch. Even though I expect Dallas to rebound, I still think the Wild take it in 6. The other must-watch series in round 1 is between the Utah Mammoth and Las Vegas Golden Knights. Utah does all the little things right, making them a very, very hard team to knock out of the playoffs. However, Vegas is experienced and will be able to match up well. Even though Vegas is up 1-0 in the series, I still think this one goes the distance and Vegas will take it in 7. These series will be exciting. However, this is just the beginning of what is going to be a very exciting playoffs. Speaking of exciting, Jimmy, tell us about the upcoming NFL Draft.
Thanks, Luke. The countdown is on for the NFL Draft, where dreams become reality and franchises look to find their next cornerstone pieces. Every year, this event brings excitement, unpredictability, and a fresh wave of talent ready to make an impact at the highest level, and this class is deeper than people think. But what makes this draft so indistinguishable, what lies beyond top names? There's a second wave of talented guys who may not headline the draft, but absolutely have the tools to become contributors or even stars at the next level. Take Cardinal Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, a smooth, polished wide receiver with strong hand and route running ability. Tate represents the modern NFL receiver, someone who can create separation, a reliable target in big moments. He is expected to be either a first or second receiver off the board. Then there's Alvaro Reese, a linebacker who brings physicality and instinct to the defensive side of the ball. Players like Reese are valuable in today's NFL because they can adapt to stopping the run while also keeping up with faster offensive schemes. At tight end, keep an eye on Kenyon Sadiq. He's the type of versatile weapon teams love, someone who can block when needed, but also stretch the field and create mismatches against linebackers and safeties. He is one of Dante Moore's best weapons last year for Oregon. I know some Carolina Panther fans that would love to have them on their team. And when you talk about quarterbacks beyond top tier, names like Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson stand out. They're developmental prospects with strong arms and high ceilings. Mendoza is a reigning Heisman winner, is expected to be taken first overall, while Simpson is expected to be taken around 17th pick, if not later. That's what makes this draft so fascinating. It's not about what goes number 1 overall. It's about finding value, building depth, identifying players who can create outpouring expectations. Teams that draft will not just look at talent, they will look at scheme, coaching, opportunity, all play a role in whether a prospect succeeds or not. And every year we see players taken later in the draft or even undrafted rise up and make a name for themselves. So as the picks start rolling in, expect surprises, expect trades, expect a few names, maybe even a few we mentioned, to become household names sooner than later. When it's all said and done, the National Football League will once again be reshaped by a new generation of talent, all chasing greatness and their shot at football immortality. Let's send it over to Landon for a current KC update.
Thanks, Jimmy. I can't wait for the NFL Draft to kick off on Thursday night and see who my Texans take. Speaking of kicking, I'm going to take it over to the pitch where the KC Current were competing for a second straight Teal Cup against Brazil's SE Palmeiras to add to their already loaded trophy case. Kansas City hosted the game in CPKC Stadium, which made history as the first time the game would be played there, which gave KC soccer fans something to celebrate. The celebration would then carry on to the game as the Current put up an absolute masterclass first half where they scored 6 goals. Yes, you heard that right, 6. Current stars Emilio White and Temwa Chawinga helped put this scoring barrage together. Amelia White had one of the most beautiful goals you will ever see from one of the toughest angles there is, as she lobbed it right over the head of the Brazilian goalie to fit the ball in the top left corner for a jaw-dropping goal to put the Current up 3-0. Then came Temwa Chawinga, who took matters into her own hands by putting on the skates and basically breaking the ankles of the goalie to put one in the back of the net for a show-stopping goal that would give the Current their 6th goal of the game. Brazil could just not get any offense flowing, and their defense was on life support against the fast-paced Current offense. When the final buzzer sounded, the Current walked away victorious with a 6-1 victory, claiming their 2nd straight Teal Cup to add on to the established legacy of this young franchise. There is a reason why they call Kansas City the soccer capital of the world, and KC citizens should be lucky they get to witness history being made every single time the Current step onto the grounds of CPKC Stadium. That's all from me on the pitch, so I'm going to cross it over to the guys on the round table, where I'm sure one of these guys will be picking my Denver Nuggets to win it all. Guys, please tell me I'm right.
Well, you're wrong, but what a performance, Landon. Love to see the Current bringing home the championship for KC, and now it's time for this roundtable to try and predict what other cities have a chance to claim the title for the NBA. I'm Xander Loosefelt, joined by Zach O'Brien and Patrick Marks, and we are back for the 2nd straight week to debate the NBA postseason. While we don't have time to go through every series like we did the play-in, we sure do have some strong opinions with what we think will go down. Patrick, I'll go over to you first. Who do you think has the potential to be this year's surprise team?
For my surprise team, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, both of them never missed the playoffs before, but neither of them have ever won a championship. Donovan Mitchell's never even made the conference finals. I think as a 4 seed, they could really make some shake.
All right, well, Zach, what about you?
I think you're completely wrong, because when you think about last year, the Cavs had the best record in the East, for one, and then for 2, they couldn't even, did they make it out of the first round? I can't remember.
They made it out of the first round.
They won the first round.
A lot of injuries.
Donovan Mitchell
Darius
and
Garland's
James Harden.
injured.
Donovan Mitchell and James Harden both have a history.
Was anybody going to be Halliburton? Let's be real.
Of choking in the playoffs and not making it further. So for me, I'm taking the Houston Rockets. One, yes, it looked ugly the other night when they played the Lakers in Game 1. It sure did. But KD was out. I'm telling you, once KD is back into this series, it's going to be a completely different series. One, because we don't know when Luka's coming back. 2, Austin Reeves, he's out indefinitely.
Hopefully back by second
Hopefully
half.
back.
We'll see.
But
well, it's interesting you talk about playoff chokers and then pick the Rockets, who lost in the first round last year. But I'm going to keep the theme of playoff chokers going. My surprise team is the 76ers. Listen, I think it's going to be a tough battle for them in the first round with the Celtics. But if they make it past the Celtics, they're going to the finals. I fully am bought in. If Joel Embiid comes back healthy for this team, Tyrese Maxey can give you 50 on any night. Playoff P is back in full form. And then you have VJ Edgecombe, who is a Rookie of the Year finalist, also liable to give you 20 any night. I like the 76ers team, man. I hate to say it.
Xander, I'm sorry.
It was one game. It was one bad game. Listen, they did not play well at all. But it's a long series for a reason, right? They've taken the Celtics team, very similar team, to 7 games in the past. I could see it happening again.
We can't put it in PG terms what happened to that Sixers team the other night.
Not without Joel Embiid.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We can only hope one of these teams creates chaos like Tyrese Halliburton did last year. But at the very least, we should be in for some exciting matchups in this first round. So, Zach, which series do you expect to bring the most action?
I expect, this is an easy pick for me, the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Last year, they didn't play last year. Never mind. The year before, their series was absolute. It was cinema. I expect nothing less from former MVP candidate, Joker, and although he's coming off of a sickness and an injury, so not really sure how that's going to add up, but I still believe that it's going to be.
I'm going to agree with you there. I think once Ant gets going, he's coming off that injury. I think he's down like 10 pounds right now, but I think once he starts getting it going, we could maybe see a 7-game series there.
I disagree with both of you. Rudy Gobert does not excite me in any way. I like the Lakers versus Rockets series, kind of like Zach was talking about earlier. Kevin Durant versus LeBron James is a matchup we've only gotten to see 3 times before. I believe they've all taken place in the finals. We get this matchup in the first round. I know Kevin Durant was not healthy for Game 1. He should be back for Game 2. Maybe it would be better if we had Luka versus Reeves, but we get to see a potentially vintage LeBron with the ball in his hands as the guy going up against Kevin Durant. I'm excited for that series. That's my pick to be the most exciting. What do you guys think?
I can agree with you on that.
We might see enough bricks to build a house in that series. I'm not going to lie.
Then we're going to have to build a house, but it's going to be a very entertaining house. So these predictions have been fun, but we know what the people really care about is our selections to win it all. So with that, let's get the predictable Thunder fan boy pick out of the way. Zach, who do you have?
Who would you think? I have the Oklahoma City Thunder winning back-to-back
Shocker.
championships.
You know, sadly, Zach, I'm going to have to side with you. I watched my Phoenix Suns hold Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 5 for 18 last night, and they lost by 35. So I'm going to pick the Thunder.
I don't think we can base a Thunder championship prediction based off them beating the Suns in one game, who also lost to the Portland Trailblazers of all teams. But listen, I think you guys are falling into a similar trap as the last couple of years. When the Nuggets won in 2023, everyone picked them to win the following year. They did not. Same with the Celtics last year. A lot of people picked them to win it. They did not. I'm not picking the reigning champion. I'm taking the Boston Celtics. I know it kind of contradicts what I said earlier. I said the 76ers could be a surprise. I still believe they can be. I just don't think it's going to happen because I do believe the Boston Celtics have the most talented team. Jason Tatum is a dog. He's back, full strength. Look at this dunk right here. Just slams it home, coming off an Achilles injury. Who else is doing that? Not Shai, that's for sure. Give me Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Tatum is taking home his first Finals MVP.
You know who can do that, though? Jalen Williams, and he's back for the Thunder, making them even more dominant than they were in the regular season without him.
That defense is just...
And the defense.
I'll take Derek White over
There's so many
Williams,
factors.
There's
There's so many factors that the Thunder have this year that teams in the past that are coming off of championship don't have. They have new guys. I mean, AJ Mitchell. Are we serious? In his sophomore year, he's going crazy.
He's all right. I still like Jaylen Brown, even as an MVP candidate, too. Don't forget, before Tatum came back, this dude was in MVP talks. He was putting up dang near 30 points a game. This Celtics team is legit, and saying anything otherwise is blasphemous to me.
I just don't see them, if they do make it to the finals and playing a team in the West, I don't see any East team making it through a 7-game series.
I'll have to disagree there, but that's all the time we have for you today. But don't go anywhere, because much like the playoffs, we still have more excitement in store for you after the break.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
From one roundtable to the next, we head to Landon, Sam, and Mike and their thoughts on UFC. Notable sideline reporter Laura Oakman had the chance to visit journalism students last week and share her knowledge. Gabby has a look into all that she does. And they might not be out on the field physically, but on the controller they are no joke. Esports Club headed to Las Vegas to compete. Trevor got a peek into what that was like. First, let's head back to the roundtable to see what the boys have to say about UFC.
Less than 3 weeks until UFC 328 throws the middleweight and flyweight belts up for grabs in Newark, New Jersey on May 9th. Mike, Landon, it's time to take an early look at the names padding the Prudential Center's 10th numbered event. Gentlemen, 2 undefeated fighters will make their way to Newark, but they could not be farther apart on the card. So let's start down in the early prelims of May 9th with an 11-0 Russian middleweight. Landon, a couple of standouts on the prelims.
Yes, you heard Sam correctly. They're standing at 11-0 at only 25 years old, by the way. The former Dana White Contender Series alum Baisungur Susarkaev has some elite potential in this division, and despite him fighting in the early prelims, I would not doubt if he started rapidly climbing the ranks. Another notable prelim fighter on this card goes by The Storm. A guy who's got some serious thunder in his striking, if you will. Ateba Gautier, another young upcoming superstar.
Get him a rank fighter.
Oh yeah, get him
Moving on to the first of 2 championship fights, we have defending flyweight champion Joshua Van taking on Tatsuro Taira. And personally, with Taira coming off of a TKO win last December, he could be ready for some action. But I think Joshua Van is going to beat the brakes off of Taira. I could see this going to the end. Is Taira somehow, he's got to stay in it early, but if he could get an early round knockout, that would not surprise me either. Sam, your thoughts?
Mike, you're going to be flush in cash with that pick. Joshua Van won the title in such terrible fashion. Of course, it's not his fault. Pantoja's elbow dislocated 26 seconds in, but ultimately he sidestepped the flyweight grade, and now instead of Pantoja submitting him, it'll be Taira. He faces the same problem of elite grappling. Taira just has all the tools. Van is dynamite, though, and he'll prove that again. After that result in December, although out of his control, kind of left a bad taste in your mouth, right? And certainly it left a large target on the belt.
I mean, it's going to be another classic striker versus grappler fight. I mean, I think if Van can stay on his feet and land some significant blows in the first round, he's got Tiara. I mean, Tiara's going to get him on the ground, obviously, but I mean, it's Van all day. I don't like the disrespect you're putting on him. I mean, he's the champ for a reason. But hey, I mean, it's time for put up or shut up time for Joshua. I'm hoping to see Van walk away with the title defense just to prove you wrong. But I mean, speaking of guys who need to prove people wrong, we've got Sean Strickland trying to take the title off the undefeated Hamzat Chimaev. I mean, I want to be the guy who backs the homegrown American talent, but let's be real here. Hamzat Chimaev is not losing this title. Mike, you think there's any way Strickland gets out of this fight alive?
I think that this fight is going to be all about Strickland's ability to stay in the fight until the end. We have seen Chimaev like to take his opponents out early, and honestly, I think dragging this fight to the end is Strickland's only chance of winning. I don't see him knocking out Chimaev at all, and personally think Chimaev will more than likely walk away with the win, looking to defend his title.
Yeah, Strickland looked amazing versus Fluffy Hernandez back in February. Hernandez, a bona fide threat, by the way, who just ragdolled a ranked opponent before that. But vintage stuff from Strickland to respond. A great wave to ride in on. But Hamzat Chimaev, man, 15-0. He's just a lab-grown Chechnyan nightmare. Duplessis learned all about his wrestling at UFC 319, and Hamzat will find a way to control his first title defense in May. Hard to go a different direction there, guys. Also probably not going to want to miss the press conference between those two.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Differing backgrounds. A couple of belts, 10 ranked fighters, and the sweet early summer aroma of May. Should be a fantastic night. It all starts at 4 Central on Paramount Plus, and the main card at 8 Central. We head now to a look at esports on campus.
A year-long journey brought the Kansas esports team to the Sin City to test their mettle against the rest of the Power Esports Conference last weekend. Competing in titles that include Rocket League, Valorant, Overwatch, and Smash, 8 months of hard work came to a head across 3 days of competition at the HyperX Esports Arena inside the Luxor.
Stage is as important, and with all the lights on it, it shows how much esports has grown, not just at KU, but with all of college esports.
The experience of the team traveling to such a prestigious location offers more than just the sightseeing of Las Vegas and playing some video games inside of a casino.
Traveling to an event, doing something like this, is an experience that will help you, not even just in esports for continuing, but to have that professionalism to go out there and do things will help you in any career, I feel like.
As the semester draws to a close, there's still gas in the tank for the Kansas esports team, as they prepare not only for the next event, but look for the takeaways that can be forwarded on to next season. It all starts square one, 1,300 miles east in Lawrence.
Having that student support, it goes a long way to like helping legitimize what we're doing here.
But they're not done just yet, as they'll travel to Texas next month to take on all of the challenges that the CECC will bring to the table. Reporting from the HyperX Esports Arena in Las Vegas, Trevor McNeil.
We now turn to spotlight Laura Oakman, who recently made her return right here in the journalism school back on Tuesday, bringing her galvanized boot camp to the next generation of women in sports, instilling confidence and working towards their goals. Known for her decades-long broadcasting career, 20 Super Bowls, and an Emmy Award, her focus has now shifted on mentoring women off the camera and building confidence through various careers in sports.
So Galvanize isn't just for women in the media.
No.
It's not just for women in front of the camera. It's all aspects of it.
We have such an impressive group of women. So it's honestly, it's PR, it's marketing, it's agent, it's coaches. We have producers. We have so many women in production. We really are everything. And the idea that, I always hope that they have a mentor in me, but I would have killed to have women going through it while I was going through it and going, are you dealing with this? Hey, how are you handling?
She strives to uplift women and bring a sense of sisterhood to the industry through her experiences and knowledge that she has gained throughout her career. Attending a boot camp means that there is a community of women who learn, grow, and come together in ways that's new and will keep changing. It was a great opportunity, and there are many ways to follow along with her program, Galvanize.
All anyone has to do is look up our socials, which is at Galvanize Life, or the website is at lauraoakman.com, and there's everything you need to know about Galvanize.
Her return to the journalism school serves as a great reminder that you can be successful in the sports industry.
That's all we have for you today, Jayhawks. This semester is coming to a close, so don't miss the chance to get final sports updates. As always, we are live at 2 on Mondays, and Playmakers is live at 12 on Fridays. Catch back up with us on Media Crossroads and Instagram if you ever are busy at 2. We'll see you next week on Run It Back.
There's no place like Kansas.